Today, I'm going to show you how to use AI to process the latest videos from your favorite YouTube channels and send you a daily newsletter of all the topics discussed in that video. So let's jump right in. So you may not have understood what I meant by take videos from your favorite creators and turn them into newsletters. So let me explain that a little more. There are several YouTube channels that I keep up with on a daily basis, and they drop videos, daily or every other day. And here's one, for example, financial education. It's a guy named Jeremy, and he drops videos on, stock market updates pretty much every day. And these videos can be 30, 40, sometimes even 50 minutes long, right? And they have a lot of valuable information about what's going on. And I do want to keep up with them, but I just don't always have the time to watch through the entire video every day. So what I did was I set up this N8N workflow that sends me a summary of the latest video every day. So for example, this is the latest one. I spent $22,000 on this growth stock today. And here in my email is the newsletter of that same video. Jeremy drops 22K on Adobe as he explains why the economy won't die. So we have pretty much a newsletter style article here that summarizes the entire video. So I can see pretty much everything he discussed in that video just by, quick 5-10 minute read. It just extracts a lot of valuable data, and it's really like an article style read, right? So something like Wall Street Journal or any news outlet, it reads like it's from an actual media outlet, right? And at the top here, we can always click the video.
Holy smokers, that ain't.
And it takes us to the video. So I set this up for a few different channels. Here's another channel that I keep up with, Amit. He's also an investing stock market type channel, and he does a live every single day before and after the market. So, and his lives are also pretty long. So you can see here 3 hours, 2 hours, sometimes they're 40 minutes, but I can't always keep up with the videos, right? And I don't always have the full hour to watch the entire video. So what I have here is the same kind of newsletter for Amit's video. So 3 green days, we see the video, we can click on it, and it's very newsletter media outlet style kind of read. So, and it's like honestly, it's a fun read. I enjoy reading these every morning. And the cool thing is also the style, the HTML styling is different every time. So you get like highlight quotes here, things like this. I just think that's really cool. So now let's jump into how we make this work. So I drew a quick chart just to show the way all the actions happen in the workflow. So we start with the trigger. The trigger is just a schedule node, and it runs every morning at 5 a.m. From there, it hits the get channel name from Google Sheet. So we have a Google Sheet set up that has a table with the names of all the channels that we want to monitor. From there, we have a code node that gets the channel ID of the YouTube channels. So we get the name of the channel from this node, and then we find the channel ID, right? Next step will be to pull the latest video transcript. So now that we have the channel ID, we have another, it's a SSH terminal node. So it executes a command in a remote server that pulls the transcript from YouTube. Then we have our AI agent that processes the transcript. And after our agent processes the transcript, it generates a newsletter from the transcript. And then from there, it sends it to our Gmail. And it does this every morning for every channel that we have in our Google Sheet. Now, here's the part I know everyone's been waiting for. This is the N8N workflow that sends the newsletters every morning. And I'm just gonna go through each node and tell you how it works and how we set it up. First, we start with our schedule trigger. And this is what triggers the workflow. So this makes everything start every morning at 5 a.m. So the way it works is we set our trigger interval for days. We can set it for hours, minutes, or seconds. So we set days. between days is every day. So this means just every day, right? At 5 a.m. We could do, if we wanted to do like 5:30, we could do, just set this to 30, but we just want 5 a.m. So 5 a.m. And then that's our trigger. After this trigger starts, it will pull the names of the YouTube channels that we are monitoring from our YouTube sheet. And here's what the sheet looks like. So as you can see, we have the @names of the YouTube channels, but you don't have to just use the @name. You can also just use the like regular name. So here, for example, if we look at Jeremy's page, you can either use financial education, or you could use this financial education with a space. It would still work. So this node goes ahead and pulls from our YouTube sheet on sheet 1, right? And then it sends that information into our sub workflow. Now you're probably wondering, why did we use this sub workflow instead of just, adding all the nodes? Well, I wanted this to be asynchronous. So that just means the transcript for each channel is processed individually and not all at once. And I'll show you what that means in a bit. So let's move on to the sub workflow. I'll show you all the nodes that are in there. Now here's what it looks like inside the sub workflow. It starts with the start trigger, and this just gets the data from the outside workflow. So the one we ran that had the Google Sheet node in it. So we get the names of the channels from that Google Sheet node, and then we bring it into this get channel ID node here. So let's go ahead and open this up. So inside this get channel ID node, you can see the fields below came from the last successful execution. So it'll get the channel name. These are 2 columns that we previously had in the YouTube channel. So you can, in the YouTube table, but you can ignore these, but it'll get the row number and it'll get the channel name. And then it'll use the channel name to execute this code here. And this is a custom script that I wrote. It uses the YouTube data API to get the channel ID based on the channel name. And you can take a look at it in the workflow. I'll upload the workflow, but it essentially just takes the name and then it gets the channel ID. You will need to create a YouTube developer account and also a client ID and API key, but you can look all that up. It's pretty easy. Next, we have our pull transcript node. Now this node is a little complicated because you have to set up an external server that has this script for it, but I'll explain how it works. After we pull the channel ID, we need to get more information on the channel and the latest videos, so we can get the ID of the latest video and then pull the transcript of that latest video. So that's what we do in this pull transcript node. So I'll show you how that works. So inside this node, so here, for example, it's using the CNBC channel, and you see our channel ID is this here. And we even get the title, and we get the latest video ID. So this is the video ID of the latest video on the CNBC television channel. So now that we know that information, we can use it to execute our script. So again, this is our pull transcript node, and it's an SSH node. If you want this node, you would just search SSH and click this. And this node connects to a remote server and executes a script. And again, it just goes node get transcript.js with the latest video ID, which we get from here. And it happens in this working directory. It just means this is where the script lives. And when this runs, it gets the full transcript, as we can see here. All right. So that's the entire transcript of the latest video on CNBC television's channel. But the problem is there's a lot of stuff we don't need in this output. So like all this, for example, is kind of just special characters. And if you look through the text too, you'll see a lot of special characters and new lines and things that you don't really need. So we need to clean this up. And that's what we're going to do in the next node. So after we pull all the information and we pull the transcript, we go to this edit fields node, and we just use this node to clean up the output of the transcript. So before, remember I showed you guys it had all the extra like equal signs and the slash ends for new line and all just the special characters. We use this JSON expression to take out all the special characters. So as you can see, we go replace, replace, replace. So that just cleans it up so it comes out and it looks like this. So as you can see, all those equal signs were removed and it just looks a lot cleaner. Just one blob of text. And that's exactly what we want. We also just get some of the values from the previous nodes. So we're getting the latest video ID, the name of the channel, the title of the video that we processed, and the video thumbnail, and the URL. And we're just gonna send all this to the AI agent so it knows which video it was looking at. And so it can also reference these values when it's creating the newsletter. And you'll see how that works in a bit. So in our previous node, we cleaned up the transcript and we extracted some of the extra data like the channel name, the latest video title, and the video thumbnail. So the next step is to pass all that information into our AI agent. And this AI agent will process that transcript and it will start writing our newsletter. So if we open the agent, we'll see there's a system prompt here that's actually really long. And then there's a user message here that includes our transcript and the video details. So the video details are the video ID and also the title and all that extra data that we passed over. And you'll see what that looks like here if I open this for you. So it'll just look like this. So the whole transcript and then with the, the metadata. And our AI will use all that information to create our newsletter. And here's what the system prompt looks like. So the role, you're a senior journalist and a newsletter editor. And some key parts here are the tool usage. So as you see here, we have output requirement is HTML only. So HTML newsletter ready. And we say always use the HTML formatting tool. And that's a tool that we have attached to the AI agent. And our agent is going to use this tool just to get the formatting guidelines for HTML emails. And I'll show you what that looks like in a bit. So as you can see, it's a pretty long prompt, but it works pretty well. So now within the agent, we have this HTML formatting tool. And this is actually an important part of the agent. What it does is it reaches out to this website. So if we go here, this is a website that just has basically all the rules and guidelines for HTML emails. And it just gives the AI agent more context on how to format a proper HTML email. And that's what makes the emails look so good like this. It put the title in the right heading, right? Even subheading for this. It knew to embed the HTML in this image, so the reason these look so nicely constructed is because the agent has this website as context. So as you can see, this website is really long and it goes into detail on how exactly to format things in HTML emails. So all we did was create an HTML tool. So the way you would do that was click here and you would click HTTP request tool here. And we just put the URL of the website and we use a GET request. And that's it, nothing too complicated. And you just give it a description. So here I said, use to get details on HTML formatting for sending, typo, for sending emails, and I just said always use. So this just ensures that the agent always uses this tool. And I noticed when the agent doesn't use this tool, the email still, it still creates the email, but it just doesn't look as good and as professional. So keep that in mind. Next, we use OpenRouter for our agent. OpenRouter is just an AI model aggregate. So they just give you access to a whole bunch of models. We're using OpenAI's GPT 5.1 right now. And that's pretty much it. After our agent processes the transcript and writes the newsletter, that gets sent to our Gmail. So we just use a simple Gmail node for that here. And as you can see, it sends to my email, and then the title is Daily Digest from the channel name and then the title of the video. So it'll be, for this one, it's Daily Digest from CNBC Television, and the title is X Energy's Cam on Nuclear Power, AI, and Space, and the Space Tech Race. And if you want to see what that looks like, this is the actual video, and this is the actual newsletter from that CNBC video here. So as you can see, it gave it a title, Nuclear Power, Orbital Data Centers in the New Space Race. You get, like, you know, first paragraph and then subtitle over the picture, key takeaways block here. All right, so it's really like news article style. And again, you take a video that, let's see, I'm sure this one is short. Yeah,
Joining me now,
a 15-minute video is now turned into something that's like probably a 5 to 10 minute read. All right, so that's the power of this workflow. So earlier I mentioned that we're using a sub workflow in our automation instead of just adding the nodes one after another. And the reason we did that is because we want this workflow to run asynchronously. And what I mean by that is that instead of this workflow finishing after it processes the transcripts and writes the newsletter for every channel, the workflow finishes after each channel. So each channel's newsletter is finished and then it moves to the next one, right? And what I mean by that can be seen here. So if you look, this workflow kicked off at 5 a.m. and it took 8 seconds to finish. And we can see in this workflow, the email sent was Daily Digest for Amit, and it was the 3 green days as markets close video. In our next one that finished at 5:02, we see it sent the video, the newsletter for Fox with the title Energy Infrastructure in Ukraine. So each one sends a different video, a different newsletter, and we don't have to wait for this workflow to finish all of them at once. It just finishes one, goes to the next one, finishes that one, goes to the next one, until it does all the channels in your list, in your Google Sheet. And that's why we use a sub workflow instead of a basic workflow. Another cool use case that this can be used for is to keep up with news. Today, a lot of media outlets like CNBC, Times, the Wall Street Journal, they make you pay for their news articles. It's usually like a month-to-month subscription kind of thing. And with this workflow, you can actually just monitor the YouTube channels of like CNBC, Fox, and things like that, and have it literally write you your own news articles on those topics that they report on. So here's one, for example, that I did from the Fox Now YouTube channel. And this is one of their latest videos about the Russia strikes. And my agent literally just wrote me a news article with a summary of what was discussed in this video. So instead of having to pay for, you know, a news media subscription, I can just now monitor all my news outlets and get the articles, you know, every day. I think this workflow is really, really powerful. And I mean, if you've stayed this long, you probably think so too. And yeah, just give me a like. I'm gonna post everything on GitHub and also my Skool community. So if you like this video, go ahead and join my Skool community. This link will be in the description. And yeah, that's it. Cheers.